Good morning, everybody. Been a while. I apologize between Thanksgiving and so much other stuff going on, all the cooking I've had to do. Went to a friend's party on Monday. I have just been incredibly busy. As you may recall, what happened last time is Melanie died and it restarted the entire game. So I got myself back to where we were, and you might find it amusing to know that although last stream was just shy of an hour, I managed to get back here in about 10 minutes. But I do know what to do. I just have to actually do it.
Ow! There are some stones here.
Sure are. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving and such.
Stop right there!
Yeah. So, throwing it there is clearly not the right answer. Don't worry, I have a save this time.
Leave me!
It's gonna take me a while to actually be able to restart.
Mr. Hall, what? Where?
Yep, I know, we've seen that before. You can see a little white pixel in the bottom right corner of this text. I wonder what that is.
Ow! There are some stones here.
That's the only place I can see to throw them.
Stop right there!
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I did it when he was about to turn around that time.
Hey!
I know that I have to throw the stones to distract them, get them to the front so I can sneak in, but I don't know the exact positions. I can only see one position that's highlighted, though.
Oh, what?
Yes, I'm aware. Take 3. Third time's a charm, right? Some really wet
Ow!
ground here, too.
There are some stones here.
When he was turned away, like, there, it didn't do anything. Him facing me definitely isn't the answer.
What was that? Let's have a look.
I don't remember that being highlighted before. I thought I looked. What?
Nothing to be seen. Yeah. Stop
Quickly!
right there!
Oh my god, Melanie. It's kind of funny how they're clipping through each other.
Hey.
Oh no! Where am I now?
Okay, it
This is
worked.
like being in a ghost train. That
That
must
was
be
really,
Lord
really,
Sinclair's study.
that was really funny. I just imagine them outside being like Skyrim guards after you shoot them in the back of the leg with an arrow, but you have 100 sneak, and they just think, oh man, I could have sworn I saw somebody, but it must have been my imagination. Anyways, Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's like the upgraded version of those Tesla balls you can get for your desk. What in the world is this supposed to be? That's supposed to be a horse skull?
A pentagram. A druid's foot would suit Lord Sinclair better.
A druid's foot would fit Lord Sinclair better. What do you mean by that? Oh. I mean, there's feet all over this. Well, that dots lined up. Unless I'm supposed to put it on the other side where the dots aren't. Like that, and then move him to be under it. Well, it made a different sound. Okay.
Damn, it's locked.
Ah, dang it. It's locked. See some schnapps back there. Can't seem to find anything that's been unlocked by that.
What's that? An altar?
Sure looks like it. Okay, cool. Um, don't recall myself having any number combinations. Do I have to count the amount of earth, winds, and fires in the room? Let's just fiddle with it for a second, see what happens. See if there's any new sounds. Definitely sounds like the same soundbite to me every time. Well, what order are these in? Wind, water, fire. This is all of them. You can see some of them on the rug too. But let's go by the order we came in significant features. I don't think this has anything to do with this other one, but we'll see. So there's one bowl. So say one. I keep going in this direction. There's the bone bucket. There's two bones. So one, two. And then there's this thing, which has four. One, two, four. That would be 0. 1. 2. 4. That didn't work. I tried doing it without the regular locker rules. So just 1, 2, 4. Nope. It might also be technically 3 numbers, because I don't know what rule system they're following. Most combination locks are right to first number, left all the way around to the second number, and then right again to the third number.
His desk looks expensive and weird somehow.
Like, you mean because of the skull? Or is there something else weird about it, Melanie? What am I seeing in the reflection of this? I think it's that ball in the corner.
It won't work like that, I don't think. Looks as if that won't work. I should concentrate.
Just trying things.
I should concentrate.
Alright, let's see what the guide has to say. It says what the combination is, but not how one might determine that information in the first place. Which is what I'm far more curious about. It says it's 10, 1, 6. What in here is pointing in such a direction? Well, it did make a different sound, so maybe it was just trial and error there.
Voila! Open.
Et voila. I'm gonna try to Google, see if there's a way that someone's supposed to figure out that combination. Combination is deduced from the painting.
After all that effort, I'm going to take them both.
In what? Oh, it's the positions of the 3 points: the star, the moon, and the skull.
This is the
Boy,
amulet
that's...
of transformation Mr. Blake talked about. It's...
Oops. Didn't realize she wasn't done talking. Sorry, Melanie. That's loud.
Mr. Halligan! God, what a relief! Oh, what was that for? Have you gone mad? What's wrong, Brent? Why are you hitting me?
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Oh, God, stop it! What's the matter with you? Don't you recognize me? Brent, stop it! Brent, you bloody idiot!
Oh. What? What happened?
Brent! Is that you? Do you recognize me?
Of course I recognize you. Bloody hell, what's going on? Oh my God, I'm feeling sick. Everything's spinning.
I had to hit you over the head. You were acting like a madman.
Wait, I just have to get it together for a moment. Oh, Melanie, you can't imagine what I've gone through here.
Cool.
How did you get here anyway? Have you been here long?
I got your message. Can't you remember? I thought you might need help out here.
Oh, right, the copy.
I had a look around the room, Brent, and I found the amulet Mr. Blake mentioned on the phone.
Where?
It was in Sinclair's safe, together with a parchment.
So Sinclair had it. I'm sure Mr. Blake will be interested in that.
I mean,
But now,
are you really
tell me
surprised
what's
by
been
that at this
happening here,
point?
Brent? What's Sinclair up to?
Melanie, I saw how this Lord Sinclair killed somebody.
What? When did you see that? And where?
Last night, here on the estate. Sinclair caught me immediately after my arrival and had me locked up. I could hear screams when I was in that room. Horrible screams. I escaped and ran outside to the forest behind the estate. And there I saw it.
What did you see?
Sinclair and some other men. They wore habits, and they were just about to cut a
Haven't heard
living
that one
human
before.
being into pieces.
Just about to. They were currently doing it.
Sickle.
That can't be true.
I saw it with my own eyes, Melanie. It was horrible.
Oh, God. And what happened to you? Why didn't you recognize me?
It must have had something to do with the food.
What food?
Sinclair and his friends invited me to their dinner. The food did something to me. Anyway, Sinclair had no compunction in telling me all about the Circle and about their future plans over dinner. The Circle wants to complete the ritual and to put a curse on the world which will make us all their slaves.
That's nonsense.
No, Melanie. You've seen what these people did to me. They're mad. And they are serious. I'm sure about that now.
What's going on in there? Open the door! Open it at once!
The guards, Brent. They're at
So-
the door. We have to leave.
Open the door!
We'll force us
Jack,
all to eat
get the
human.
key!
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll force
Melanie,
all of
I
us to
think
eat
you're
human
right.
jerky.
We really should
Then
get
we'll
out
all
of
be
here.
under their control.
And we should do it now. We made it.
Yes, thank God.
Teleportation.
I couldn't have taken it in that house even a second longer.
Everything all right with you?
Yes, I'm a bit out of breath. And you, Brent?
My head is still throbbing a bit, but apart from that, I'm okay. We have to go, Melanie. Now.
Where?
To Mr. Blake. If anybody can tell us something about the incidents in this house, he can.
Okay, let's move.
Mr. Blake, I'm glad you're here.
Really feels like they
There's
cut
a
out
lot
some
we
middle
need to
bits
tell
there.
you. We've experienced something simply incredible.
Calm down, Mr. Halligan. Let's discuss it all in peace and quiet. Perhaps you'd like to introduce me to the young lady?
Oh, of course. I almost forgot in all this excitement. Mr. Blake, this is Dr. Melanie Turner from the Anthropological Museum in Oxford.
Oh, yes, of course. We spoke on the telephone.
That's right. Pleased to meet you at long last, Mr. Blake.
Now, what's been happening? Have you found out any more about the circle?
Any more? It's a nightmare, Mr. Blake.
Go on.
We found the amulet.
Mr. Blake, we found the amulet you were talking about. The amulet of transformation.
You found it? My God. Show me. Yes, that's it. Where was it?
In a hidden safe. In the office of the leader of this ominous circle. There was a parchment with it, with completely illegible signs on it. Here, take a look. Do they make any sense to you?
They're very unusual runes. I'll have to take a look at this in peace. Go on with your story. You were saying you know who's leading the circle? Who is it?
Circle's led by an aristocrat named Lord Sinclair.
The circle is led by an aristocrat called Lord Sinclair.
Lord Sinclair. Never heard of him. How did you find out?
Research. Scotland Yard observed the group for a while. There was an entry in the database, so I drove out to his place. It's a pretty pretentious estate on Winchester Street.
You drove out there all by yourself?
Yes.
That was rather careless of you, Mr. Halligan.
Couldn't agree more.
Say that again. He'd obviously been expecting me and had me locked up at once.
Not that anyone would have helped us anyway. Certainly no one in the office would.
I witnessed a murder taking place.
Murder? On Sinclair's estate?
Yes, I saw them cutting the flesh from a human body, a live one.
Yes. I saw them cutting the flesh from a human body. A live body.
With a sickle?
Yes.
I knew it. What you witnessed was a ritual for the transferal of life force. Were you seen?
I passed out. When I came to, I was sitting at a laid table with Sinclair and 4 other men.
Was there food on the table?
Yes, meat.
You didn't eat any, surely.
Yes, I did.
Oh my God.
I know. It was the victim's flesh, wasn't it?
Yes. You have taken part in the ritual, Mr. Halligan. How on earth did you manage to get away?
Miss Turner got me out. If it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't be here now.
You're a brave woman, Miss Turner.
So he's claiming that he remembers the whole bit of their evil plan, which we didn't get to see in the cutscene after he ate the meat, but that he doesn't actually remember eating the meat when he's talking to Melanie, and now he's claiming he remembered it again. Maybe he was just trying to save face in front of Melanie earlier.
What do we do now?
Why don't we just send a police contingent round there? You're a detective, Mr. Halligan, and Lord Sinclair is a murderer.
There won't be anything to find by the time they get there. Sinclair and his friends are no fools. They'll proceed as they've done in all the other cases. They'll just dump the bones somewhere to save the police hunting high and low for a corpse. Scotland Yard will file it away. End of case.
Have you found out yet what stopped the completion of the ritual 1,000 years ago?
Have you found out yet what stopped the completion of the ritual 1,000 years ago?
I've deciphered the text a little further, but some of the signs are just completely unknown to me.
I thought you said the amulet was important to the ritual.
I thought you said the amulet was important to the ritual.
Yes, that's what the inscription says.
Yeah, but then everything's all right now. After all, I've got it. Let's just melt it down, then this nightmare will be over.
Mr. Halligan, you're forgetting the ritual has already taken place 1,000 years ago. It just didn't reach perfection. Only part of the power was transferred to the infants. The inheritors are now trying to complete their ritual.
But if this amulet means so much to Sinclair, surely it must be needed for the perfection.
I'm not so sure about that. Sinclair may be interested in it for some other reason.
What makes you think that?
The title written on the parchment you gave me.
I'm genuinely curious. We had all this gameplay to get this thing. Very hard implying that it was needed for the completion of this ritual, so why isn't?
What does the parchment's title say?
Unless I'm very much mistaken, the text refers to a place known as 12 Bridges.
What kind of place is that?
12 Bridges is an abandoned complex near Glastonbury. The bridges are in great danger of collapsing. Ancient Celtic myths refer to the place as the Gate of the Worlds.
Gate of the Worlds? What's that supposed to be?
You know, Mr. Halligan, the Celts did not regard reality and time as insurmountable facts. On the contrary, they regarded them as illusions, which man's laziness and ignorance made him incapable of overcoming. Celtic shrines
like
were
the
always
Matrix.
special places that allowed them to leave the normality of everyday reality. Celtic myths claim that 12 Bridges has been a consecrated site for millennia, a place where the body can step over into another time.
Fascinating. You mean 12 Bridges is the gate to a journey through time?
You mean 12 Bridges is the gate to a journey through time?
According to the legend, yes.
But nothing's ever been reported of such a journey.
But nothing's ever been reported of such a journey.
Well, that doesn't make it impossible, does it? The place has not been closely examined so far. It's too dilapidated. Just entering the place has taken a very serious risk. Anyway, nobody really believes in time travel anymore these days.
Why did they call it 12 Bridges?
Why do they call the place 12 Bridges?
It's a very strange arrangement of 12 stone bridges. No one knows why they were built that way. They probably weren't the first thing that was erected there anyway. The current bridge array dates from the early Middle Ages. If, as I suspect, that place has been a Celtic shrine for centuries, there are bound to have been other structures there at some point.
Okay. Why would Sinclair keep a parchment about that place in his safe?
Why would Sinclair keep a parchment about that place in his safe?
You see, Mr. Halligan, that's what I've been wondering. If Sinclair knows the place and keeps a parchment about it hidden in his safe, wouldn't it be conceivable that journeys through time really are possible from 12 Bridges?
You mean he wants to travel back in time?
Well, he'd certainly be doing his best to make sure nobody else made that journey. Maybe Sinclair wants to prevent anyone from traveling back in time and disturbing the ritual.
Why would anyone do that? And why would Sinclair be so concerned about it?
It's easy. No ritual, no inheritors. No inheritors.
No Lord Sinclair. I see.
Of course, these are just speculations. As I said, Mr. Halligan, we need the book from the library. I should be able to tell you more when I've translated the parchment.
You actually haven't said that yet. I think I got some of the stuff a little out of order. You're supposed to say that to me a little bit later in this conversation. However, so he's citing that the evidence of why he thinks that the amulet is not necessary for the ritual is simply because it was kept in a safe with a document that's talking about going back through time, so implying that it must be used for going back in time. Now, while that is one string of logic, if you perhaps have ever had a folder on your desktop of your computer, say one for tax forms, you would put all sorts of tax forms in there from all sorts of different years. And while they are all technically related to the matter of taxes, in the way Lord Sinclair's safe would all include things from Druid or Celtic myths, then is it not surmisable just to say that, A, he keeps all sorts of important documents in the safe, except for the one fact that there were only 2 things in there. So, therefore, I can't argue with him too much on it.
Thank you, Mr. Blake. I'll see what I can make of it.
Good. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to call on me anytime you like.
Hello, Mr. Blake. Hello, Melanie.
Hello, Brent. How could you just leave like that?
There was
What?
something I needed to see to.
I have quite a few things to see to as well. Shouldn't we discuss with Mr. Blake what's to be done next?
Yes, Mr. Halligan.
Leave?
We have no time to lose.
What? What are you guys
All
talking
right.
about?
Mr. Blake, I have just one more question.
Let's see if I missed
I thought you...
anything.
Yes,
Yeah, but then everything's... Let's just...
Mr. It just...
But if...
I'm not...
What makes...
The time...
How could you just leave like that? What?
Can you read what the parchment says?
The signs resemble those on the inscription I'm working on, but I'm just not getting anywhere with it. All I've been able to make out of the parchment so far is the title. I need a special book to continue. The Celtic Orthographic System by Scott M. Winfield. Oxford University Library should have it. Mr. Halligan, please get me a copy of that book. I believe the translation of this parchment is the key to Lord Sinclair's intentions.
Being who you are, Mr. Blake, wouldn't you have a copy of said book in your extensive library? It seems nothing could be more relevant or more important for your research and translating of old texts in said language. Way Epsilon. He's sitting down pretty.
Thank you, Mr. Blake. We'll see what we can make of this.
We're much obliged, Mr. Blake.
I wish you both the best of luck. Take care of yourselves, and come back to see me soon.
To the library. I'm saving. Not letting a repeat of what before happened. I don't know if there are any more instant kill things, but better safe than sorry.
This thing is getting more and more mysterious.
Of the
I
Druids?
can't believe what Mr. Blake said.
We have to find out why this amulet is so important to Sinclair. Perhaps Mr. Blake is right, and the amulet is the key to preventing the ritual. I expect we'll know more as soon as the translation of the parchment is finished. I have to go to Oxford, Melanie. I have to get the book for Mr. Blake.
Yes, of course. That's fine by me. I really need to check a few things at home. Where shall we meet later?
I'll get in touch with you as soon as I have any news, okay?
All right. I'll be off then.
Okay, Melanie. See you later.
The one most obvious question is, since Brent Halligan was the only person who even knew of the amulet's existence other than Blake, and Blake is physically incapable of going and getting it himself unless he can wheelchair in a lumpy graveyard, why wouldn't they just kill Halligan when they just said, they were considering offing him? But one could also say, oh, well, maybe Sinclair really wanted to have the amulet himself, and if he went there himself and got it, it would look suspicious. Or perhaps they're implying that as the player, you're smart, you deduced where the amulet was, and no one else had managed to figure it out for all this time. I could see them doing that from a video game logic standpoint. That's one rusty horse. What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets. Anytime now, Brent. I love it when we walk inside of the floor. It's my favorite thing to do.
I'm pretty sure this isn't the book Blake meant.
Yeah, it's got snails in it. Celts don't like snails at all.
I'm pretty sure this isn't the book Blake meant.
This person really, you're testing fate today. Come on, there we go.
Excuse me, I'm looking for a book.
Oh, how nice for you.
Quite. Do you think you could help me?
Help you? Why?
I presume it's your job as a librarian.
Because the book I'm looking for is a rare one.
We may not even have it then. Who knows? Was there anything else?
Shouldn't you
young
know?
Man?
You don't seem to understand. I'm asking you to be good enough to assist me. I don't have much time, so if you would be so kind...
I'm not being paid for being kind, or for helping you.
What are you being paid for? What is your job? Am I accidentally talking to the janitor or some shit?
How many books are there in here?
About 543,000, the magazines included.
Great. And I've got to look through them all?
Is this the first time you've been to a library?
No, of course not.
Have you tried the computer yet?
Actually, I'm no expert on computers.
That, I'm afraid, is not my problem. We have special courses that teach people how to use the computer.
When do they take place?
At the beginning of every semester.
But I can't possibly wait that long. I've come here all the way from London.
In that case, I suggest you make the most of your stay here and teach yourself how to use the computer.
Great.
I'll see what I can do by myself then.
You do that.
What a lovely lady. So helpful.
You again. Haven't you found your book yet?
No, how could I? Look, I'd really appreciate your helping me.
You repeat yourself, young man.
That's my question. Why are you sitting here if you won't even help me? I thought it was your job to give people information.
I thought it was your job to give people like me information.
Don't think you can tell me what my job is.
It was an obvious question.
Look, young man, my job is to answer questions the computer can't answer. Have you asked the computer yet?
Well, at least they've made the gameplay direction straightforward, but it does seem that her job is indeed to give information.
No.
Well then, go to the computer and check the database. You do. You again.
No. How? Look, I.
You repeat.
This seems like it's just gonna piss her off. Why don't you just come along and give me a hand? You're not busy right now anyway.
What are you sitting here for if you won't even help me?
I'm sitting here to make sure no books are stolen. I can't do people's research for them as well.
Don't you have a security system?
Don't you have a security system?
Yes, we do. The trouble is, it only reports a theft. Someone has to catch the thief and confront him, don't they?
True.
Seems like
And
you
that
might not be the
someone
best
is
suited
you.
for that job.
Naturally. And believe me, I can be very unpleasant to deal with.
Oh, I believe you.
I was gonna say the same shit. Oh, I believe you.
You do.
All these questions are
You
extremely
again.
passive aggressive, but
You repeat.
I just love dialogue, so I'm like a loot goblin, but for voice acting in games. Why don't I just go have a word with your employer then?
Well, why don't I just go and have a word with your employer?
Professor Owen, if you like, go ahead. But I can give him a message for you, if you prefer. He's my husband.
Your husband's a very lucky man, madame. I must confess I don't envy him. Oh, I love both of those responses. Very lucky man.
Your husband's a very lucky man, madam.
Trying flattery now, are you? Young man, I'm well past that age. Go and look for your book. And when you found it, I may let you borrow it.
How very generous of you, madam.
Isn't it just?
Oh, Jesus, this lady.
You again.
No. How? Look, I.
You re-
Alright,
Well,
what's
Professor, if you is my
your husband?
Your husband. I must confess, I don't envy him.
what you're saying, young man. You do.
Alright, I think there's one left.
You again.
No. How? Look, I.
You re-
Why don't you just come along and give me a hand? You're not busy right now, anyway.
Not busy? And how would you
I knew
know?
that was gonna be what she'd say.
Impertinent loud.
Never, it's like telling someone to calm down. You don't just presume what someone's doing at any time if they're writing shit down. You don't know what they're writing down. You don't know what they're trying to remember off the top of their head. I get the impression you're just sitting here doing nothing. What exactly are you working on right now, if I may ask?
What exactly are you working on right now, if I may ask?
I'm revising the house rules, if you must know.
Oh, why? What's being altered?
The landing procedure. From now on, visitors to the library must do their own research. Do you understand?
Of course. I might have known.
Well then, you might let me continue my work now. Oh, and, young man,
Yes?
welcome to our landing library.
Thank you, old crow.
I beg your pardon?
Nothing. I was just thinking aloud.
I get the impression you're just sitting here doing nothing.
I get the impression you're just sitting here doing nothing.
And I get the impression you want me to have you thrown out.
By
Is
whom?
that so, young man? You see, so behave yourself, keep your voice down, and observe the house rules. And stop wasting my time.
Alrighty.
You do.
To the computer. Oh, I still have all this crap on me. I guess I don't know why I wouldn't, but Ooh, man, I'm facing through all sorts of geometry right now. Well, let's not. Uh, Screw it. Let's click around, see if we can't click
Which
anything.
one?
Good question.
Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one?
Okay, so it doesn't look like we can interact with that right now. I know it would have taken more processing power, but I do kind of wish they would fill out environments more. So now
Which one?
man, I'm all turned around. I'm seeing the other side now. Okay.
Which one?
That's probably the way out. So what's to the right? More of these. What did I just pick up?
That's the book. The Roman Monetary System and Fiscal Policies. Must be a bestseller. Think first. That's the book. The Roman Monetary System and Fiscal Policies. Must be a bestseller.
Is it because our financial systems are largely based off what the Romans did? I assume that's the joke.
Which one?
Why does that sound like a joke they make in a Bond movie? If I end up looking this up and there's like 4 items in this whole place, I'm gonna think to myself, man, this is a whole lot of big empty space to have 4 items in it. Hello.
Excuse me, sir. I hope I'm not disturbing you. What are you doing?
Eh? Studying. Can't you see?
How odd. That's what I was planning to do.
How odd. That's just what I was planning to do.
Oh, yes? Well, then go ahead.
You're occupying the computer. I can't study anything here.
What? Oh, just a sec.
You seem to be working on rather a strenuous project. Shouldn't you take a short break?
A break? Out of the question. Every second counts. My critics are just waiting for delays so that they can put them across as weaknesses to their readers. The Hastings Principle must be published on schedule.
Again, this sounds like Lowry putting on an old man voice. I doubt any of these dialogue options are going to work, but
I think I've been waiting long enough.
Now, what do you know about waiting? The vast continuum of space and time, elucidated in the string theory, knows no waiting. Only the concept of being as a trace of existence in the parallel stream of the ever-concurrent. You ought to know that, young man.
I don't believe those 2 bits of information you just presented to me actually have any relation to each other. Did you make this nonsense up yourself? Yes, I am aware of that. That's why I wanted to look it up.
Yes, I'm aware of that. That's what I wanted to look up.
Indeed, a colleague in the field. Well, tell me, what do you make of the string theory's applicability with regard to Luhmann's polysystems? Do you believe that the previous reception of the world's early history should be re-examined on the basis of this theory?
I think possibly.
Possibly. That's an interesting approach. I should mention that in my next book. The Hastings Uncertainty Principle. Brilliant! Thank you, my friend. I must check up on this theory. There must be vast amounts of literature to be found.
I like this guy. I'm not familiar with that poly theory that he discussed. I'm familiar with string theory, but how it relates to time and space, I always think is a little bit of a pointless discussion. But I'm not a scientist or a philosopher. Couldn't I help you with your research?
Couldn't I help you with your research?
No, that's not possible. The subject is simply far too complex. I don't even quite understand what results my research may lead to myself yet.
Very early stages then.
You're planning a big publication?
Yes, I am. That'll teach my rivals. The Hastings Principle will go down in history. I'm working on volume 14 at the moment.
Of how many?
32.
How do you know how many it's going to be? Shouldn't say too long. I'm confiscating this computer.
This is taking far too long. I'm confiscating this computer for my investigations.
Oh, you're a policeman. Are you threatening me? Are you trying to encroach upon the freedom of science? I'm sure that my friend, the Dean of the Faculty of Law, will be very interested to hear that. What was your name again?
My name is besides the point. I need that computer.
My name is beside the point. I need that computer.
Ah, now you're getting worried, aren't you? Yes, that's authorities for you. When you threaten them with higher authorities, they soon knuckle under. So be patient, my friend. I won't be finishing here for some time yet.
Before you
And
said
I'm
1 sec.
certainly not letting the police tell me when I can work or not.
All right then, Professor. I've got work to do.
Good. Make yourself useful. Carpe diem, I always say.
What does that mean? Let me look that up. Phrase used to urge someone to make the most of their present time and give little thought to the future. You're a scientist. Shouldn't you give a lot of thought to the future? Book. I knew I had to do that from the video. Let's see what else I can figure out on my own. Just making sure there's nothing else to pick up here. Doesn't look like it.
Which one?
Now I know what I have to do next, but not where to get the tool with which to do it. So I take some trial and error. Okay, good. BMW.
It's locked.
It's locked.
I should think about it again.
Didn't think so, but I thought it was worth a try. Pretty sure you used the classic clothes hanger trick. Oh, that's... I don't have one. I don't know where to get one.
No, not a chance.
The main question is, there's no reason for me to believe they'd have anything like that in the library. But what locations other than that might it be? Probably pretty well picked most places clean. Kind of forgot the music had stopped. Just need a wire or something.
I'm pretty sure this isn't. pretty sure this isn't the book Blake meant. Somehow I don't think this is the book Blake was talking about. I'm reasonably sure this isn't the book that Blake was talking about.
I'm assuming these are all real books they have pictures of, but I'm just curious if there's any relevance to the story or jokes that I'm not immediately perceiving.
You again? Haven't you found your book yet?
No. How could I? Look, I...
Where are you sitting there? Don't see anything there.
You do that.
Alright, I'll give another scan real quick. Not seeing any objects. Not anything I could use for my purposes anyway. There's a coat rack back at the office, but no hanger I could think of. Alright, what's Mr. Guide say? Well, I wouldn't have thought of that, but there's one in place. There is a wire to pick up. Back to Sinclair's estate. Not the first place I'd want to go back to at a time like this. But to be fair, the reason why it's there isn't illogical. I just wouldn't have thought of it. What if I just came up and rang the doorbell? There we go. Right there. It would help if your mouse actually changed. Like into a little grabby hand. Oh boy. Oh boy, Epsilon. Oh wait, I have to do it out there. Shit. BMWs actually have the logo on the lock for their door as well. I miss those old thumb locks. I guess I call it a thumb lock.
Professor Hastings, what are you doing?
Who? Me? Nothing. I must be off to my car. My alarm just went off.
Professor, what's that book you're carrying?
Book? I don't have a book. Please don't joke now, Mrs. Owen. I have to see to my car.
It says Ms. Owen
This
up there.
then?
But how the devil? That's impossible. I didn't take this book.
Then how did it get there?
There must be some mistake. A very regrettable mistake, Mrs. Owen. I assure you.
I like your nerve, Professor Hastings. You steal a book and then try to deny the whole thing ever happened. I'm very disappointed in you.
Mrs. Owen, you've known me for 20 years now. You ought to know that I'd never.
All I know is that I'm going to have to put this on record. Please come along over here to the issuing counter, Professor. You will have to fill in a form.
Man, she really is a giant bitch. Because I thought if he is a professor at this university, then couldn't he just make the excuse, oh, sorry, I legitimately forgot that I had this in my back pocket. What a stone... And yeah, I assume if he's a professor, he's been here for at least 10 years or more. So she should know him pretty well. So she either has a massive grudge against him for some reason we don't know, or she's just a giant bitch. Poor guy. I was kind of curious if I could go talk to him. I'm kind of glad I can't. Computron. It's the Matrix. Scott M. Winfield, Old Celtic Alphabets, Vienna, 1880, Kaiserlich, Königlich, Hof und Strats. Ooh, I've never seen SDR before. That's almost my last name. Stratzruckeli. ISBN not applied. I don't know why it wouldn't. Library position 483CB. Okay. So you need to go to the place with the cross numbers. 483CB. It did say CB or it did say CD. 483.
Which one? Which one?
Oh, I should have taken a picture of that. I'll be right back. I'm curious what the 48 is referring to. The 48th book in the third row? Counting from left to right, I assume.
I found what I was looking for.
You're fucking
Book
kidding me,
I
right?
need is in position 483CB.
CB. But B is not the letter that comes after C.
Which one? Which one?
Well, if there's 13 rows, I mean, that was just up to 26, not 48. So which side is it on, the B or the C side of 3?
Which one?
I don't think I'm that stupid. What am I missing? Why would they include B? Because if it were CB, wouldn't it be this shelf right here and not this one? Since this is the bookshelf that connects C and B? I understand what the 48's for, but why would they connect B to it? Wouldn't this be the CD shelf? Or I guess... No, still I'd expect to be on this side. Maybe if it's on this side, it would go BC to denote that it's... I'm not sure. Actually, I'm really doubt it, but does the guide say anything about that? It did not mention any extra detail. It did say I should save, though, so... Yes, I would like to replace it. Silence. I love it when the music doesn't loop.
Here, madam. I found the book I was looking for. I'd like to borrow it.
This one?
Yes? Is there something wrong with it?
You bet there is. This is our reference copy.
What's that supposed to mean?
I can't lend it to you. You will have to read it here.
You can't be serious, surely. I need this book. I have to take it to someone.
You heard me.
Do you have a copy machine?
Do you at least have a copying machine?
No. Why don't you copy the pages you need by hand?
Madam, I've told you the book's not for me. I wouldn't know which pages are important, and I can hardly copy the whole book by hand.
That's
Not your problem, right?
right.
I thought as much.
Couldn't you make an exception? I mean, we get along so well.
Couldn't you make an exception?
We don't do exceptions. Have you any idea how many reference copies we have had stolen?
Honestly, no. Why would I know?
All right, forget it.
What if it's another book that they have a lot of copies of? Oh, he's back at the computer.
Hello, Professor. Still busy? I thought maybe you'd been thrown out by now.
Why would you say that?
Hang on, nearly finished.
It's pointless. He's in a world of his own.
He's research happy. It was very different, the dialogue on top of the screen. What if I replace it with the jacket with one of these books? Look, they have so many of them. If I hadn't seen Mandalore's video, I'm not sure I would have known that.
This
But
history book is a perfect fit for the book I want to borrow.
it doesn't look like a perfect fit. It looks much smaller, or I should say just much narrower than the book we were holding before. At least the 3D model, the one we took off the shelf. It seemed to change size miraculously when we took it off the shelf.
Right, I've finished here. I found a different book that interests me. I assume you'll let me borrow this one.
We'll see. What have we here? Let me see.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, the Roman monetary system and fiscal policies. Yes, you may borrow this one. And just think, I've actually read this one. What a coincidence. A brilliant piece of work. Very vivid and never gets boring. You know, I wanted to be a historian, and Roman coins were my special field. But then I met my husband here at the university. He was working on his doctoral thesis at the time, and, well, you know how it is. I could discuss Roman coins for hours.
Madam? This is all highly interesting, but I do really want to borrow this book.
Oh, yes, of course. Forgive me. Here you go.
Thank you for the book and your great help.
Oh, I do hope you're not angry with me. If there's any way I can help you, please, don't hesitate to tell me.
Not for the moment, thank you. I really must be off now.
Naturally, naturally. See you soon.
See you soon.
Is this just really trying to convey the point of what happens when you get any nerd talking about their interests? I mean, technically the same thing happened with... I'm going to try to remember his name. Give me a second. Capitaine Chaldoneuve, Capitaine of the Merchant Navy of France. The moment that we got him talking about his interests before he wouldn't give anybody the time of day. Maybe that's the point they're trying to make. Maybe everybody in this universe is just a little bit weird. At least I humor people, even if I'm not interested in what they're saying. But yeah, get me talking about guns, and I'm all over that shit. Especially historical firearms. Especially anything that's really quirky and rare. Animatronics do get a little quirky at night. Okay. Mr. Blake, have your book. This is an odd scene. Just freeze this one into your minds.
Here you are.
I hope he
Here's the book
sasses
you
us that
asked
it's the
for.
wrong book.
Ah, yes. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Halligan. Well, did you have any difficulties with Mrs. Owen at the issuing counter?
None I couldn't handle.
Good. I'll get to work at once. Oh, by the way, Mr. Halligan, Miss Turner called about an hour ago. She's worried about you because you haven't been in touch for such a long time.
Did she say that?
Yes. She said she needs to speak to you urgently.
Do you mind if I use your phone?
No need. I asked her to come out here and join me. She should be arriving any minute now.
I hate to break it to you, she's already arrived.
How long will the translation take?
Oh, not long, I hope. The book will be a great help. You'd better just wait here for a moment.
I'll just take a look around then, if you don't mind.
Of course not. Be my guest.
Hi, Melanie. How are you?
Mr. Halligan, there you are. I've been looking everywhere for you.
But I already found you earlier. You found me now. I'm touched at your concern.
I'm touched at your concern.
Now, don't go imagining things. After all that's happened, it's only natural that I should be worried about you. And Mr. Blake.
Well, you found me now.
Well, you found me now.
How did you get on? Any news?
Mr. Blake's busy translating the parchment we found. He thinks the amulet and the parchment are somehow connected. Maybe we'll be able to stop the Druids once we know what the parchment says.
She was here when we
Getting
discussed
on
that
with your
earlier.
Translation, Mr. Blake.
I've done about half. Just be patient a little longer.
Well, I had to get Mr. Blake this book.
That took rather a long time. I've been phoning around asking for you.
You've been trying to get hold of me?
Yes. I also went to Scotland Yard and spoke to your chief. He's a bit cross with you.
Oh, my chief cross with me? Or with anybody? Even if something weren't going on that was weird, he'd still be cross with me. What have I done now?
Cross with me? Why, what have I done now?
Lord Sinclair's planning to bring charges against you for burglary.
What? I don't believe it. That old devil Sinclair seems to feel he's pretty
Does
safe,
he have any
doesn't he?
It
evidence?
looks that way. It seems he has very influential friends in the police force. Whatever, your chief asked me to tell you that you're suspended, effective immediately. Oh, and the next time you come to the office, he expects you to give him a comprehensive report in writing.
What?
But I'm suspended.
He can't be serious. Don't tell me he's handing the case back to that thick-headed, big-mouth Lowry.
I wouldn't know. All he said was that he expects you to hand the file to him as soon as you get back to the yard.
I certainly will not.
I'm suspended. Why would I
This
even go
business
back?
is just too important to let go. I don't care what the chief says. I'm going to carry this case through on my own.
Cutscene.
What's going on out there?
Looks like there's a fish tank in the corner with how the light was hitting Mr. Blake.
What is it? What's happening?
And that urn on the right side.
Leave me! Get out of the danger zone! Here, take the parchment and go!
Come along, Mr. Blake. Let's get out of here.
You get out of here. I'll follow you.
Get out of here! Quickly, run!
I believe you have something of mine, Mr. Hannigan. I shall give you until sunset to give my property back to me.
Poor Mr. Blake, I really liked him. His car is basically untouched, though.
Oh, God! Mr. Blake!
What a
I
smooth
have to go back
transition.
and get him out of there.
Are you crazy?
boy.
Don't go. It's pointless. You can't help him anymore. He's dead.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my God, what an inferno. Let's get out of here, Melanie. Otherwise, we'll be next.
Where can we go? To Scotland Yard?
No, that's not a good idea. The chief inspector's waiting for me there. We'd only lose time. And Sinclair is getting more and more powerful with each new murder.
So what can we do?
You heard what Mr. Blake said. Sinclair has the power to complete the ritual. No matter what we do, for the time being, nobody can stop him.
Then we're lost.
No, Melanie. We have one chance left.
What do you mean?
We have to go to 12 bridges. We have to try to move the Gate of the Worlds. If we want to stop Sinclair, we have to stop those who gave him his power 1,000 years ago.
You believe in that Gate of the Worlds thing? It's just a myth, a fairy tale.
The question is not whether I believe in it, Melanie. The question is whether we have any other options.
It's a fair point.
Right. Come on then.
And some pretty unbelievable things have happened so far, so... First I thought the game broke.
This place is just incredible,
Yes. It's beautiful.
but also rather ramshackle, just like Mr. Blake told us.
Caution. Danger. Could I ask you something personal?
Could I ask you something personal?
That depends on just how personal it is, Brent.
Oh, there's like a slight echo. What'd you think of me when I first came to your museum?
What did you think of me when I first came to your museum?
What did I think? Brent, do I really have to tell you?
Of course you don't have to, but I'd like to know.
I'll tell you, but only if you promise not to be angry with me.
Oh God, is it that bad?
Well, do you promise?
I do promise.
Okay, I promise.
I thought this unshaven bloke's wearing a totally unfashionable coat.
What? That's what you thought?
Yes,
And was that all you thought?
you ask a lot of questions, Brent. I think that's enough for a start. Perhaps we can chat a bit more later. Now we've got other problems as well, don't you think?
Sure. More than enough, I would say.
So would I.
We will find a way of getting over that.
I hope so, Brent.
Melanie,
Brent?
it's about that conversation we had.
What is it, Brent? More questions? You're really curious.
I am a detective.
How can we get to the rocky island?
The bridges don't look very inviting to me.
Yes, I can see what you mean. A lot of them have cracks as well. It's probably too much of a risk. They will collapse one after the other.
But we can't just stay here and hope for a miracle either. We have to do something.
That's true, we do have to do something. Do you really think we can travel through time? She already said no to that.
Do you think you can really time travel from here?
Scientifically, I'd say it's impossible. But like you said, it's our only chance. If this doesn't get us anywhere, we're finished. We should try everything.
I agree, we should try everything. What do you think? Why was it built like
What
this?
do you think? Why was it built like this?
I don't know. I'm an anthropologist, not an architect.
Wouldn't this kind of... I know it's architecture specifically, but the reason why, wouldn't that kind of follow into anthropology? Did he say anything else that could
Blake
help
say
us?
anything else that could help us?
I don't think so. Not while I was there, anyway. You were the one who talked to him.
He only told me that there had been a place of worship at this location for millennia.
That doesn't help us much, does it?
No, it doesn't.
We will find a way of getting over that.
I hope so, Brent.
More
Melanie,
speech.
Brent?
It's about that conversation we had.
What is it, Brent? More questions? You're really curious.
Can you see what's over there?
over there? On the rocky island?
You mean the tower?
No, I mean the thing in front of the tower.
No idea. Looks like scales.
Yeah, it looks like a
or
basket on a
scaffolding.
stick.
What purpose could that serve?
If we stay here, we'll never know.
True. Very true. More personal questions.
Could I ask you something?
That depends.
Why did you phone Mr. Blake?
Why did you phone Mr. Blake?
You know why. I wanted to talk to you because of the business with the chief.
But at Mr. Blake's you said that you were worried.
Well, yes. I hadn't heard from you for a while. And after all we'd gone through together, I wasn't indifferent to what happened to you.
Aw, she wasn't
That's
so
nice
different.
of you. You know, I'm not really used to anybody caring about me apart from myself. And apart from Chief Inspector Miller, of course. But he's only worried whether I'm doing something which could harm his beloved department.
It's all right, Brent. You're a nice man. Strange, but nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider him rude so far.
Are you married?
Oh, well,
Was that too private a question?
yes. No. Oh, I don't know.
You don't have to answer.
It's all right, Brent. I was married. I got married as soon as I was 18, you know. My father dragged one of his younger colleagues round to our house every weekend. A real high flyer with money, an expensive car, and a golf club membership. He was called Peter.
And you married him.
And you married him?
Yes, my father did everything he could to bring us together. I was young. I didn't have a clue what I wanted, and what was important to me. In time, I just got used to Peter being around, and I thought that feeling must be love. So I married him. Christ, I was really just a stupid child.
What do you mean you were married?
What do you mean, you were married?
After our wedding, Peter soon changed. You know, at the beginning, he was sort of charming, but then he became different. Unpredictable. Hot-tempered, violent.
He hit you?
Yes. It started with a box round the ears, and then it happened all the time.
You put up with that?
For some time, I did. I thought, well, that's what it's like to be married.
How long did that go on for?
About 2 years. Then I divorced
Sad that
him
people
when
think
I
that.
found out that he'd been unfaithful to me with some girls from the golf club all the time.
Did you start studying immediately after getting divorced? What did your father say to all this? That's what I'm more curious about.
What did your father say to all this?
Of course, my father wasn't delighted with the divorce. He saw how I suffered all the time, but he didn't want to believe it. After all, the whole thing had been his idea. When I told him that I wanted to split up, his first concern was that it might harm his research contacts.
That's bad. What about your mother?
What about your mother?
I lost my mother a long time ago. She had cancer and died very early, when I was only 9.
Did you get on well with your
Do
father?
you get on well with your father?
After splitting up with Peter, we lost touch for a number of years. My father just couldn't understand why I wouldn't do what he wanted anymore. He couldn't understand how I could deprive him of his allegedly gorgeous son-in-law. He was disappointed in me, and I was disappointed in him. It was only when I got my degree and we became colleagues, so to speak, that our relationship improved again.
I can relate to that. Something not dissimilar happened with my father. Did you start studying immediately after getting divorced?
And did you start studying immediately after getting divorced?
Yes, I started working and financed my studies myself. I wanted to be independent at last, from my father, my husband, from everything that had restricted me before. I studied like mad. I spent the nights in the library.
And you were successful.
I didn't have anything
Good
left
job.
apart from my career. So I thought, make the best of it. And it worked.
You go, Melanie. Must have been a very difficult time for you.
That must have been a difficult time for you.
It was hell. I was alone, broke, and I'd had enough of men.
I can imagine that. Have you ever heard from this Peter guy since then?
After the divorce, he behaved like a lunatic for months. He called all the time, or he appeared drunk in front of the house and screamed abuse in the middle of the night. He even waited for me in front of the museum and swore at me. I had to call the police.
Oh, God, what a psychopath. Do you know what he's doing now?
Yes, now and then I read about him in the papers. He's the director of the Anthropological Society now. One of the bigwigs.
Doesn't that make him your
He
boss?
seems to have achieved what he always wanted. And as far as I know, he's married again. But I'm not really that interested in his life. The whole thing's over for me now. I'm just glad to be left in peace.
You go, girl. Thank you for telling me that.
Thank you for telling me that, Melanie.
I don't usually talk that much about myself, Brent. But meanwhile, you've become almost like a friend.
Thanks. Alright. Let's move the gate of the world. So. It's more like a troll skull than a human skull. I have no clue what I'm supposed to do here. I should probably end pretty soon here, but I'll give a casual glance. In case this bridge collapses underneath me, I'm going to save. Ah, we're in a hallway again. Oh, come on, you can get across there. Well, I must be able to do something with this space.
The verses are very strange.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay. It's a puzzle. Between the bridges worthy lock, the wise man walketh to the clock. The way all through the 12th frame can only once no more be passed. Who does not find the hourglass falls in a stone grave deep and vast, but who shrinks back from the power and talketh paths with paths, but who shrinks back from the power on the flame and talketh paths with paths, will not have the gods to blame, and will sink well deeply down the past. Why is this out of position?
That won't. The verses are very strange.
Ah, fucking.
The verses are very strange.
Okay. So the 12 o'clock position can only be passed, but not more than once. And then mainly just talks about time for the rest of it.
Arched bridges. Must be ancient. Arched bridges. Must be ancient. There's a rather strange building over there. Arched bridges. Must be ancient.
It sounds just like cross the 12 o'clock position, and then avoid the flame. Well, she's still there, so let's try talking to her.
Melanie?
Brent?
It's about that conversation we had.
No, actually,
What
it's
is it,
not.
Brent? More questions?
How can we get to the rocky...
The bridges don't look very inviting.
Yes, I can see what you mean. A lot of them have cracks as well. It's probably too much of a risk.
But we can't just stay here and hope for a miracle.
I agree.
Did Blake say anything?
I don't think so. Not while I was there, anyway.
He only told me that there had been a place of worship at this location for
That doesn't help us.
No.
We will...
I hope so.
I mean, I must be able to use some item here. But nothing's even appearing as interactable.
It won't work like that.
Okay, can't give that to her. Alright, what's the guide say? Ah. I had a funny feeling. But I was like, nah. Nah, this can't be it. One sentence and now I know what to do. I thought, what's the one other object I can interact with? The skull and bones sign. And I thought, I can't have to go back and click it again, do I? Yes, I do. What a big area to have two interactable pieces.
The boards of the danger sign.
I just take the 7-mile hike back. Speaking of, I went to a friend's party on Monday and shot some guns for the first time in a very long time, because with the military academy and then boarding school and college and all that, I haven't actually had the opportunity to shoot in a very long time. And I kind of hurt my lower back because I didn't really know how much we'd be shooting. So I brought 250 rounds of 9mm, I brought 100 rounds of 7.62, I brought my gun itself, 2 more antiques that I want him to fix up for me, and then also I brought my FAL. So I was holding somewhere in the ballpark of 60 plus pounds of stuff, and I didn't think anything of it. I thought this is a heavy bag. But I only had it all on my right arm, both the bag and my FAL, holding it in my hand and the bag over my shoulder. And I woke up next morning, and the opposite side of the small of my back is sore. And where do I interact with this? Because I don't see any spot for it.
There's no point in that.
I agree. But I thought I'd try. Ooh, I've disappeared. Not seeing a spot. Must I combine them with something? Snail, perhaps?
That doesn't work.
Didn't think so.
There's no point. The verses are very strange.
What's the guide say? Not quite sure I'm understanding this correctly. Use the boards on the gap on the right.
Looks like that won't work.
I'm rather confused.
No, better not.
They almost make it sound like I'm supposed to hop from bridge to bridge. This isn't until I reach a broken part. But there's only one broken part.
Arched bridges. Must be ancient. There's no point in that.
I found the magic pixel. So slow. Boom.
Hey, good heavens, that was close.
Oh my god! Are you okay?
Never better.
Yes, I'm all right.
You've got a nerve, Brent Halligan! How dare you upset me like that? You could have got killed!
It's all right, Melanie. I'm still alive.
Don't you ever do that again, do you hear me?
Hey, all right, all right.
Well, unfortunately, I have to do it again right now. Also, you're yelling like you're really far away, but you're right behind me. I think the fact that she was so close to where we needed to click kind of screwed up the click detection.
It won't work like that. Doesn't work. Melanie? I made it! I'm on the other side!
I'm standing
Great,
over a
Brent.
captain of nothing right now.
What's it like over there?
Interesting. There's a rather strange tower with some sort of scales in front of it. No idea what it's used
Like
for.
12 feet away from each other.
Come here and see for yourself.
I can't, Brent. You've got both boards on your side.
Oh, damn. That's true.
Brent, how much do you weigh?
What?
How much do you weigh? Your weight.
About 160 pounds. Why do you want to know?
I'm much lighter than you. The bridge won't collapse when I use it. I'm coming over now.
God willing.
Melanie, don't! Stop at once! The bridge will collapse!
I might have walked a little bit faster than that, Melanie, but... Oh no, we dropped some rocks on some wolves. It sounds like. Alright.
The door is completely flat. No handle, no lock.
I didn't realize that was a door. I thought that was just a hole. Well, I must have to use lift with this. Let's put shit in it. Ding. That one won't.
That's too dangerous.
I saw a glimpse of what to do next. This would be pretty insane otherwise. I have no clue how this amulet is heavy enough, or maybe it's just magic to hold that open. Well, this is ominous.
I just don't get why the tub was screwed to the metal bar.
Probably have to twist it then, I assume. Does the amulet work?
I'd rather think about it again.
No.
Another tub, empty again. I don't believe it will work like that. Of course, it can't work like that.
Well, it said I have to spin and avoid fire, I believe.
It would have surprised me if it had worked like that. The verses are very strange.
Does not find the hourglass falls in a stone grave deep and fast, but who shrinks back from the power on the flame? That is an F. I think it's, yeah. Power on the flame, and taketh paths with paths. Let's try throwing everything in there.
I should think up something else. It would have surprised me if it had worked like that. I should think up something else. It won't work like that. That's futile as well. You could hurt yourself with those. No way. No, I would only scratch everything. Nothing's happening.
I forgot what this key
Doesn't
is
fit.
for.
Would have surprised me anyway. It would have surprised me if it had worked like that. I don't believe it will work like that. It would have surprised the shears, ruined. That doesn't work. That won't get me any further.
Alright, well, I legitimately have no clue what we're supposed to do here. I don't see anything to interact with. Alright, there's a screw on the left side of the bucket. How the fuck would I have seen that? Lovely noise, thank you. Doesn't hurt my ears at all. Okay.
I can't do that.
What about this?
It'll certainly not fit in there.
What if I combine them?
That won't get me any... A hook. It's got a hole for a screw. I thought it wouldn't work like that. That would be stupid. Of course, it can't work like that. That doesn't work. There's no point in that. It won't work. They would have surprised... I don't want that. That won't get me any further. That would be stupid. It'll certainly not fit in there. It'll certainly not fit in there. It'll certainly not fit in there. Another tub, empty again. I just don't get why the tub was screwed to the metal bar.
Neither do I. Makes me think I'm supposed to spin it. I don't see how either of these things are supposed to help with that.
Of course, it can't work like that. They would have surprised me if it had worked like that.
Alright, what's the guide say? Oh. Apparently I have to remove the board. Without exiting.
Hey, look at that. This building is really...
I had thought it had something to do with the counterweight, but I didn't know it would let me remove the board and trap myself in here like this. Ding. Nope.
There's no point in that.
Use the scissors to unscrew the screw. Now can I put in the screw? I failed to see how that helped us.
Oh my God, Brent!
God, it's so loud. Why did they make the cutscene so much louder than the rest of the game?
We haven't moved even a single inch from where we started out, have we?
Look, the bridge is a hole again.
If you ask me, the bridges are still whole. We've landed in a time when this whole place was still completely intact. We've traveled back in
Not
time.
an inch in space, but an inch in time.
Uh-oh, here comes company.
They look like soldiers.
Don't panic. Let's find out what they want.
I think we figured out what they want. How'd they know we appeared?
I must have fainted.
Yeah,
Where are we
fainted.
now? Brent?
Knocked
Brent, are
out
you
is what
there?
I would say.
Nothing. Damn, where am I? Looks like a kitchen.
The perfect place for a woman. Am I right, fellas? Alright, well that is the perfect place for us to stop. On that note, I hope you all have a lovely day, and I'll see you next stream. I'll try to stream one of these evenings to make up for the lack of doing it Monday morning, but once again, time to make fools of us all. So, have a good one. Stay safe out there, everybody.